Okay, so learning objective one in this credit market model chapter is going to be to understand interest rates, both what we call nominal and real interest rates. So, first, a few basics about loans. So, perhaps you've never had a loan in your entire life, you've never used a credit card or anything like that, you have no idea how this works at all. Okay, well, let's say you go and get this loan for $20,000 to buy a car. Simplifying to make life a little bit easier, let's assume that the loan is for 1 year. So at the end of 1 year, you are responsible for paying back this loan. And the loan has an interest rate, I'm going to call that I, that is 5%. So the question is, how much do you owe on the loan? Well, in 1 year, you owe $20,000. That's what we call the principal. So that's the amount of money that you've borrowed. And for sure, you are responsible for paying that back. If you borrow $20,000 from me, you have to pay me back $20,000 in the future. And in this case, with the loan, plus you have to pay some interest. The interest, 5%, is calculated on top of the principal. So it would be I times the principal of 20,000, which in our case is 0.05 times 20,000. The interest rate was 5% or 0.05. And this part is the interest that you're responsible for. 5% of 20,000 is $1,000. So how much do I owe in total? Is $20,000 plus $1,000 or $21,000. That's the total amount of money that I have to pay back in 1 year as a result of engaging in this loan or taking out the loan to buy a car. Now, in practice, it works typically slightly different. You wouldn't just pay back $21,000 at the end of 1 year. You would make payments along the way, divided up in such a way over 12 months in this case, so that at the end of the day, you paid the $21,000. So if you've ever taken out a car loan and you look at your statements, it'll tell you how much is owed, what the total amount financed is going to be. That includes the purchase price of the car, $20,000, plus any interest that you're being charged along the way. And your payments are divided up in such a way to make that add up over the life of the loan. Okay, so just a few ways that we're going to write this. So what you owe, we're typically going to write as the principal times 1 plus I, which in our case would have been 20,000 times 1 plus 0.05 or 1.05, which if you check that out is still going to equal the $21,000. So very simple breakdown here of how we figure out what it is that we owe when I take out a loan at a specified interest rate. Okay, now this interest rate that we've been working with is what we call a nominal interest rate, which is just the stated interest rate. And this is the one you're always going to see. So when you go and get a mortgage and you're borrowing at 3%, or you get a car loan, it's at 1.9%, that is the nominal interest rate. It's the stated interest rate. So it's what you see. So in our example, the $1,000 that you paid was how much nominal interest you paid. And the next thing that we want to try and tackle is to figure out how much is this going to be in real terms, meaning how much other stuff do I give up? In our previous examples, that was, say, beer and pizza. Do I give up by paying this interest? So how much beer and pizza, that's just consumption, do I give up? That's going to be our next question, is to convert this interest into real terms. And we'll do a little bit longer explanation of that, and then we'll have a shorthand, quicker way to figure out the real interest.